Hello and welcome to the Department of Child Support Services Community Block Party channel. Today we are here to speak with one of our community partners in relation to the 6th annual Department of Child Support Services Community Block Party, which will be held on July 28th here in Stockton at Chase Chevrolet from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. At this event, there will be resources provided by our department and our wonderful community partners. At this event, we will be giving away backpacks filled with school supplies to children. I am Tanisha Green, one of the founders of the Block Party, and I would like to thank you all for joining us. We welcome our community partner today, so please tell us who you are, your role, and the organization you represent.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Adriana Griffith. I am the Outreach Program Coordinator here at the Women's Center Youth and Family Services. We are located in Stockton, but we serve the entire county of San Joaquin. And what we do is we provide basically supportive services to victims of human trafficking, sexual assault, domestic violence, and runaway and homeless youth as well. So my role specifically when it comes to our outreach and our education is doing things like this, coordinating all of our community presentations, all of our outreach events, and just connecting with other service providers and community partners in the community.
Thank you for that, Adriana, and welcome again. So are there any other services or programs that you want to highlight that your agency provides?
Absolutely, absolutely. So our agency, just a little bit of background. So we've been in the county since 1976. So we are the Rape Crisis Center for the entire county of San Joaquin. And so, but our services are much more than that. So to start off very simply, we have peer counseling, case management, we have shelter services available. We have a youth drop-in center that's called The Spot. And so it serves ages 12 through 25, and they can get breakfast, lunch, dinner. We have shower facilities and laundry facilities, as well as resources and referrals and just other supports that they can get at the drop-in center. So it's a really low barrier service. It's basically like what it sounds like. Youth can just sort of drop in or come in as they see fit and as they need. And it sort of acts as our gateway services to our other programs. So our other programs and services consist of our crisis department, which would advocates in the crisis intervention department assist folks with immediate crisis intervention. So if it's a victim of domestic violence or sexual assault or human trafficking, they're immediately going to assess for safety and just kind of get them connected to resources and supports that they might need. So whether that's shelter, whether that's law enforcement, whether that's getting connected to mental health services or whatever service they need. That's what the crisis intervention team is doing. They're also responding to sexual assaults 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we work with the county for our what's called our SART response, or our sexual assault response team. And our advocates can go out any time of the day, 7 days a week. So it could be 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday, or it could be 5 in the morning on Christmas Day. So it really doesn't matter. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but we are on call all the time for that. And then our advocates are also helping folks to fill out domestic violence restraining orders. So a temporary restraining order, helping them to do that, filling out that paperwork, as well as court accompaniments to those appointments and things like that. So it's really short-term crisis intervention, just getting them quickly, as quickly as possible, connecting them to the next resource and to the next service. Our supportive services department is going to be our long-term sort of support area. And that's where our peer counseling and case management lie. So again, it's peer counseling. So they're working one-on-one with a peer counselor, working on self-esteem building, setting goals and things like that. Our case managers, we have a few different types. So we have our general case management, our safety net case managers, which specifically only receive referrals from CPS. And then we also have our TAY case management program, which is transitional aged youth. And that's specifically for individuals that are 16 through 25. And they're assisting them with employment, housing, education, all of those pieces, connecting them to the other resources and supports and things like that. Then we also have our shelter component. And so our shelter component, we have our emergency shelters for domestic violence victims and their families and children, as well as our youth service, our youth shelters, which would include our Opportunity House, which is our transitional living program for youth 18 through 25, and then our Safe House, which is an emergency shelter for homeless and runaway youth ages 12 through 17. So again, these shelters operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And, you know, all it takes really is for somebody to just, you know, say that they're looking for some sort of shelter service so that we can connect them. But that's, in a nutshell, all of our services, from shelter, case management, supportive services, crisis. And then again, our community outreach team is doing things like this, where they're, again, connecting with folks in the community. And then they're also street outreach. So they also go out into community, boots to the ground, and go out to outreach to the homeless youth or at-risk youth in general. They also will go out with some of our other community organizations and partnerships to sort of do outreach with our homeless community as well.
Wow, I mean, that is amazing. I mean, all of those programs under the Women's Center, I am impressed with that, because it is needed, and people may not know that those services are out there. Mm-hmm. So if someone needed a service, how can they be serviced by your agency?
Absolutely. So there's a few different ways that folks can get connected to us. The most easiest and simplest way is we have where you can just walk into any of our locations. So our California Street office or our San Joaquin Street office, they're both in Stockton. We also have a Lodi office as well. So folks can walk in the doors just as a walk-in. There's no appointment needed. You just simply walk in and say, I need some help, I need some assistance. The other way in avenues is through our crisis lines. So we have 24-hour crisis lines that operate, same as our shelters, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they're manned by our advocates at all times. And so somebody can call one of our crisis lines, whether it's domestic violence, sexual assault, or our youth and human trafficking hotline. They simply call the hotline and are just asking for the same things. They need some assistance. And our advocates are really trained to really help them figure out what they specifically need. So we get a lot of calls where sometimes folks don't know what they need. They just got told, hey, call the women's shelter or the women's center. So we get calls sometimes, looking for legal assistance or medical assistance and things like that. So it's not just folks calling to get connected to our services, but it's also a resource as well. So we'll connect others to the resources. But yeah, crisis lines, walking in, and then other service providers can also make referrals. So we have an interagency referral form that's available on our website for folks to sort of fill out, and it's a fillable form. And service providers, whether it's CPS, whether it's probation, parole, it could be another youth organization, and they just recognize that maybe their client needs some assistance in the area of dealing with domestic violence or sexual assault, or even child sexual abuse. And so they can make a referral to our agency, and we'll get connected to one of our advocates to reach out and follow up and just to kind of start that conversation there and see where the need is and what we can do to help them. And then I believe, yeah, that's basically it. Walking in, calling, or getting a referral from one of the other service providers in the community.
Thank you for that. And can you please provide the office locations if you have them, and also the crisis line phone number?
Yeah, so the crisis line, so I'll start with the crisis lines. So our domestic violence crisis line is going to be 209-465-4878. So again, that's 465-4878 with a 209 area code, and that's for domestic violence. Our sexual assault crisis line, and again, all 209 area codes, but it's going to be 209-465-4997. So again, it's 465-4997 for the sexual assault crisis line. And then our youth hotline, which also doubles as our human trafficking hotline as well, is going to be 209-948-1911. So again, that's 948-1911 for the youth and human trafficking hotline. So again, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, holidays, doesn't matter. Those lines will always be answered by a live individual person. You will never be answered by a recording or anything like that. And then as far as our locations go, our two primary locations are going to be located in Stockton. And so one is on San Joaquin Street, and the address is 620, so 620 North San Joaquin Street in Stockton, and that zip code is going to be 95202. And then our California Street office, which is right around the corner from our San Joaquin Street office, that address is 729 North California Street, same area code 95202. And then our Lodi office is, I don't remember the Lodi office's address off the top of my head, but it is available on our website as well. And then that office in particular just is really appointment based a lot of the times. And so mostly you're going to have your best bet contacting either our California office or our San Joaquin Street office. And then if need be for Lodi, we can get somebody to go to the Lodi office and meet folks out there.
Thank you for that, Adriana. Is there anything else that you want to add, or any other way that someone or a community member can support your agency?
Yeah, so I'll start with support. So when it comes to supporting our agency, we definitely always lead with supporting our clients and our participants first. And so we get a lot of donations, so you can always donate to our agency. So we take both in-kind and monetary donations. Because of COVID, we've had to sort of just go down to just accepting brand new donations. Unfortunately, previously it was brand new and gently used, but as of right now, we are only accepting brand new donations. And then, so that could be clothing, hygiene items, particularly for like our older youth. So I would say like our teenagers and our young adults. We get a lot of donations for our kiddos and for our young kids, but we always seem to miss out on that teenage year. And so those donations around for that specific age population can be really, really helpful for our participants. And then we also have ways of volunteering. So folks can volunteer with our agency as well. So we have direct service volunteering, which would include being trained as an advocate, working directly with our participants. Then we have our indirect service volunteering, which is sort of, it'll involve street outreach, it would involve community engagement, and just helping around the office with admin, back office kind of things, organizing and working with our clothing closets and things like that. So that's as far as our volunteering goes. And then other support is just going to be about getting the word out there. Following us on our social media, we are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And so follow us on our social medias, share our posts. We do events throughout the year, particularly around awareness months that have to do with victimizations. So we're always looking for folks to kind of get the word out and support those efforts, and just share. And then I always say, come by and see what we do here at the agency. If folks are willing, you can get tours and just, we can kind of go around and just talk about what we do here at the agency. But we're always welcoming individuals to kind of come in and see. There are certain areas of the agency where we can't show the general public just due to confidentiality and the respect and privacy for our participants. But a lot of the times we do very much welcome folks to just come in and hear a little bit more about what we do, pick up brochures and pamphlets and things like that. And we also encourage folks, if they have their own organizations or they're doing their own community events, to come by and pick up some materials from us, just to kind of give out at your own events if need be. And that's also another way that folks can support.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today, Adriana from the Women's Center.
Absolutely.
And Thank you, thank you. And we would like to thank you all for joining us on our Community Block Party channel.
Thank